What's going on YouTube? Splice just back with another Genshin Impact video, and we are on the verge of 2.0 here. And so I wanted to make a quick video discussing the star-studded banner here that's going to be releasing with 2.0. Now I don't know much about Ayaka just yet, other than that she's a cryo sword user, so I'll probably discuss her more in further detail in a future video. However, the 4-star lineup for this banner is nothing short of extraordinary. We finally got Ningguang returning after a very long hiatus. Pretty excited about that, but let's go ahead and take a look at some of these characters and why I think that the 4 stars on this banner are definitely worth pulling for. So Ningguang, fantastic character. She can be a really nice bursty DPS character. So the way Ningguang works is you use your basic attacks, and every basic attack you do causes Ningguang to get a Star Jade up to a maximum of 3, and then when you use your charge attack, it launches your normal charge attack projectile as well as the 3 Star Jades, and those Star Jades each do, depending on your rank of course, a percentage of your attack damage. So let's take a look at the Constellation here. So Constellation 1, when a normal attack hits, it'll deal AoE damage, which is a really nice little buff there, especially for groups of enemies. Rank 2, when your Jade screen is shattered, its CD will automatically reset, and it can occur every 6 seconds. Now, Jade Screen can actually do quite a bit of damage if you are able to line it up just right to actually hit an enemy while you are deploying it. So that can be a very nice DPS increase as well. Rank 3, of course, Constellation 3, I mean, ranks up your ultimate ability, your Q. Constellation 4, not really much to write home about. Jade Screen increases nearby character's elemental res by 10%, so good for support. Constellation 5, of course, increases the skill level of your elemental skill. And then Constellation 6, if you're anywhere near Constellation 6 and you're wondering if you should pull on this banner to get C6 Ningguang, I would definitely recommend it. As you can see here, I don't have it, so I can't speak from personal experience, but just search Ningguang burst DPS on YouTube, and you can find plenty of videos where she just absolutely wrecks. So C6, when you use your elemental burst, you are going to gain 7 Star Jades. That's 7, that's 4 more. So once you launch a charge attack, not only are you going to launch the original charge projectile, but you're going to be releasing 7 Star Jades. That is a huge burst opportunity. Of course, you got to charge up your ultimate every time to use this, but Ningguang's ultimate charges up pretty quick. So it is a very nice bursty sub DPS character. You can just rotate her in when the ult is ready, throw down your Jade Screen for some extra DPS, pop your ultimate, because you're going to want to pop your ultimate after you use your Jade Screen because it does extra damage if your Jade Screen is on the ground. And then launch a charge attack, and you're going to do some really massive, really nice damage. So if you're anywhere near C6 Ningguang, this banner is already worth it. Up next, let's take a look at Chong Yoon here. Chong Yoon would also be a really great sub-DPS character. His constellations here are really great for supporting your main DPS and your other characters here. One thing to be leery of, though, is that his elemental skill, so if you're using any physical DPS characters, Chong Yoon may not fit in your party all that great depending on the situation, because his E will actually create an AoE on the ground for a certain number of seconds, 10 seconds here, and anybody who uses a sword, claymore, or polearm will have their damage changed to cryo. So characters like Eula, Razor, anybody that you're stacking physical damage on, especially if you have a physical damage artifact, that physical damage artifact is going to be pretty much null and void when you're standing inside of Chong Yoon's elemental skill. So use with caution, but he does have some very redeeming qualities here, especially in his Constellation. So up first, Ice Unleashed. The last attack of Chong Yoon's normal attack, so just his normal attack string, releases 3 Ice Blades. Each blade deals 50% of Chong Yoon's attack as cryo damage to all opponents in its path. So it releases 3 separate Ice Blades, each one dealing 50% of your attack as damage, which is basically, at base, 150% extra damage on the last swing. And each one of those blades has its own opportunity to crit. So each one of those blades can also crit, dealing much more damage depending on how you build your Chong Yoon here. Constellation 2, we've got elemental skills and elemental bursts cast within the frost field created by Chong Yoon's elemental skill, so his E ability. So if you're standing inside of the AoE from his E ability, will have their cooldown time reduced by 15%. So that's a pretty nice buff to have there. So you can reduce the cooldown of your abilities by 15% by casting your abilities inside of Chong Yoon's AoE, which, like we already talked about, has a 10-second lifespan. So it's a pretty nice buff there. We're going to skip past C3. It just buffs your ultimate skill by 3 points. Up next, we got C4, Frozen Skies. Chong Yoon regenerates 1 energy every time he hits an opponent affected by cryo, and it can affect every 2 seconds. So, of course, this ability will help you keep your elemental burst charged up so you can cast that more often. C5, of course, nothing to really talk about. Does the same thing as everybody else. C6, Rally of 4 Blades. So Chong Yoon's elemental burst deals 15% more damage to opponents with a lower percentage of their max HP remaining than Chong Yoon. And this skill will also summon 1 additional Spirit Blade. So some nice DPS increase for his ultimate there. Chong Yoon's really nice to just kind of rotate in. He's really good as a sub DPS. You just rotate him in, you throw down your E, you throw down your Q, swap them back out, and then you start going to town with your main DPS. So lastly, the last 4-star on this banner is Yanfei. She's only had 1 event banner so far, and that was her debut banner. But Yanfei hits like a truck, at least with Vaporize and Melt. So if you're fighting Ice Slimes, Cryo Slimes, or anything affected by Hydro and Cryo, she does a buttload of damage. And she's got a absolutely fantastic 4-star weapon that you got for free as long as you did the Golden Apple Archipelago event, in which you got the Dodeko Tails Catalyst. And then, of course, you got the materials to get it to Refine level 5. And that thing is an absolutely amazing 4-star weapon. While we're on the topic of that weapon, Dodeko's Tails, it's actually a really good weapon for Ningguang as well. So if you're trying to pick one or the other, if you don't get Yanfei but you've got Ningguang, or vice versa, definitely put your Dodeko Tails on either one of those characters. You're going to have a great time. Yanfei is also really good for destroying wooden shields. Her basic attack is pyro damage, of course, so you don't have to wait on a cooldown of an elemental skill to burn down a wooden shield, Might of Shirl's shield. Definitely comes in handy, but so the way Yanfei works is kind of similar to Ningguang in the sense that you're going to use her basic attack to gain Sacred Seals, I believe they're called. Scarlet Seals, excuse me. She at current, she can get up to 3 Scarlet Seals. So each normal attack you do generates a Scarlet Seal. And then when you perform a charge attack, it consumes stamina, of course, and all Scarlet Seals before dealing AoE pyro damage to opponents after a short casting time. charge attacks, AoE, and damage will increase according to the number of Scarlet Seals consumed. So of course you're going to want to cast a charge attack after building up 3 Scarlet Seals. And then furthermore, her E will immediately, instantly generate the maximum number of Scarlet Seals. It says maximum number because if you do get her to C6, as we'll see in a moment, you can increase your Scarlet Seals to 4 rather than 3. And then done deal. So when you cast her ultimate, it will periodically grant the maximum Scarlet Seals, or grants a Scarlet Seal at fixed intervals. So periodically you'll just be granted an extra Scarlet Seal. So you just pay attention to the Scarlet Seals hovering around her waistline, and just cast your charge attack once you're at max capacity. Plus, if you don't already have Chi-Chi, Yanfei is also good to keep in the party for farming Liwa specialties. So if you need Violet Grass, or if you need Noctilus Jade, anything, the Qingsing Flowers, anything that's specifically regional to Liwa can definitely help you farm those up. But so Yanfei's Constellation, even C1 is absolutely fantastic. It's a really, really nice constellation to have. So when Yanfei uses her charge attack, each existing Scarlet Seal additionally reduces the stamina cost of your charge attack by 10% and increases resistance against interruption during its release. So if you don't have C6, maximum number of Scarlet Seals is 3. So 30% reduced charge attack stamina, which is really, really nice, because it is super easy to start spamming her charge attack, because if you bring her into battle and you pop your E first to get max Scarlet Seals, and you launch a charge attack, and then you pop the Q and you get another Scarlet Seal charge or normal attack a couple of times, it's hurt. You can charge attack very, very frequently, and it can eat up a lot of stamina very fast. So this Constellation 1, is really, really worth getting. Constellation 2 increases Yanfei's charge attack crit rate by 20% against enemies below 50% HP. Really nice buff there. We'll skip Constellation 3. So Constellation 4, when done deal, her ultimate, her Elemental Burst is used. It also creates a shield that absorbs up to 45% of Yanfei's max HP for 15 seconds, and it also absorbs pyro damage 250% more effectively. So not only can Yanfei deal out some really nice damage, if you get her up to C4, you're also going to have some really nice defensive attributes to go along with her kit here. C5, of course, we'll skip that. But C6, as I've previously stated, increases the maximum number of Scarlet Seals by 1. So, by having 4 Scarlet Seals, you're going to reduce your charged attack stamina consumption by 40%. And then if we go back and look at the base attack here, the charge attack, AoE, and damage will increase according to the amount of Scarlet Seals consumed. So your charge attack is going to hit even harder by having the 4 Scarlet Seals activated. So even if you don't need Ayaka on this banner, it's definitely worth pulling on, particularly if you are pretty far from pity. It can still happen that you'd get a 5-star. You know, within a handful of pulls on any given banner, it can happen. Highly unlikely, but it can happen. So pull at your own risk, of course. You know, if you're really kind of anticipating the release of somebody else, or you're waiting for Yoi Maya, for example, pull on this banner with caution. But as far as the 4-star lineup it goes, even if you're not interested in Ayaka, whatever her pronunciation is, it's definitely worth pulling on this banner. I think I'm definitely planning on pulling on this banner just to try to get C6 Ningguang. But yeah, furthermore, yeah, if you don't have any of these characters yet, they're definitely worth acquiring. Chong Yoon, his passive ability gives you 25% faster expedition time in Liwa expeditions, so that's really handy to have. And then Ningwang, if you're looking for ore. Ore will show up on the map, on your mini-map. So if you're not familiar with where the ore is spawning yet, she can be really helpful as you're traversing the countryside to locate ore as needed. So there we have it. There's a rundown on the 4-star characters on the new 2.0 banner featuring the new 5-star character Ayaka. As always, thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below, hit that like button, and it would help me out quite a bit if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Stick around for more videos like this, as well as covering even more games going forward. So thanks again, and we'll see you for the next one.